On January 1st, 2023, my wife, Julie, and I departed Salt Lake City, Utah, headed for Madrid, Spain. We were greeted at the airport by my good friend, Bjorn Ehlers, and immediately headed off to Tembalik, a small village in the province of Toledo, Casa La Mancha. We would spend the next few days there hunting red-legged partridge.
Good morning.
The falconers loaded their birds for the morning's hunt. Breakfast was at a small cafe in the village, consisting of ham, toast, tomato sauce, and orange juice, along with a delicious cup of coffee. The falconers all split up, looking for red-legged partridge. They keep track of each other's location with an app on their iPhone.
Yeah.
The red-legged partridge must be visually located. They do not hold to dogs. These birds run. Bjorn gets ready to fly his bird by placing a Marshall GPS radio transmitter on the bird.
Nice carved redleg.
Beautiful.
How easy that is.
Melina was next up, flying her immature tercial peregrine, Sully. The birds flew so high that it made it challenging to video them. I was only able to capture some of the lower pitches with good quality. All of the falcons flew very well. was thrilled to see my first flock of pin-tailed sandgrouse. Sandgrouse are protected and not allowed for hunting. We headed back into the village to have a cup of coffee and something to nibble on.
Coffee with milk?
Yes.
Or a small farm where they go on the weekend or in the summer. So most things are living flats.
Then it was back to the fields for more hawking. How much land do you have to hunt on, and how many falconers use it?
Yeah, here in this area we have around like 20,000 hectares, which is around 60,000 acres. And we are three falconers, just three falconers. We can have guests coming to hawk with us. And of course the manager of the shoot, of the hunting land, has his own business with shooters. So, but as the land is so big and there are some areas that are so plain and open that are not good for shooting, we even when there are some shooters in the hunting land, we can go to another area of the hunting land, and we can hunt quite safely with the falcons. No?
And how long is the falconry season?
The falconry season depends on the region of Spain. In this region, it comes from mid-October to first week of February, so it's quite a long one. In some other areas in the south of Spain, the season closes by end of the year, 31st of December, since as the weather is much warmer than here, all the species are early breeding species, so the hunting season closes a bit earlier. We hunt in Spain. We do have both species, European species. We do have the grey partridge and the red-legged partridge, but the grey partridge is very, very scarce and limited to some mountain areas in the north of Spain. So it's not hawkable, let's say, and in some areas, in most of the areas, is protected. So all around Spain, what we have is red-legged partridges, and this the basic quarry for long-wingers in Spain, waiting on long-wingers. This bird was bred by Matt Gage. He bred fantastic bird. I had a brother who was fantastic, and I have seen Tony James female who flew very well as well. I think that line was really, really good. As Matt told me once, they are called easy birds to do, which are the ones that I like.
After a great morning of hawking, it was back to the village for lunch. After some needed nourishment, it was back to the field for an afternoon of hawking.
Trufi. Trufi, muy bien, trufa. Muy bien. Muy bien, trufilla. Trufa. Anda, ven.
Red kites that are common often circle above a bird on a kill. Before they had radio telemetry, falconers found them helpful locating their birds on a kill. We came upon a flock of great bustards. They are one of the heaviest flying birds in the world. And then we saw a black vulture. Both black vultures and griffon vultures were common in the area. Lorenzo called to let us know he'd be late for dinner. He had lost his favorite hood in the field and had no luck searching for it.
May it continue in high quality
A hard day.
in different places throughout the world.
Different opinions.
There was a bit of fog the next morning, so Lorenzo and Bjorn decided they would fly the goshawks before flying the falcons. For those unfamiliar with falconry, hawks are flown from the fist and generally at fur, like rabbits, where falcons are flown from a high pitch above the falconer, diving on flying quarry.
Who are you?
The ferrets are used to flush the rabbits from their holes. The dog's keen nose would tell the falconers which holes had rabbits. The ferrets made the goshawk hunting very efficient. In no time at all, we had several rabbits. We decided to kill some time, so we went to look for Lorenzo's hood. The falconry in Spain is of the highest quality. The red-legged partridge, great quarry. They seemed relatively easy to catch, but then I must consider that I'm hawking with people who have perfected it over many years and are some of the best falconers. It would seem to me that the peregrine tiercel is perfectly suited for hunting red-legged partridge. Peregrines are less likely to stoop at the red-legged partridge when they see them running on the ground, whereas a gyr peregrine would probably stoop them every time. The area is very open. The red-legged partridge run as soon as they are spotted, and they keep running. By the time the falconer's bird is high in the sky, the partridge are way out there. The falconers go to approach them and send the dogs out, and the partridge flush, often hundreds of feet ahead of the falconer. This makes a perfect situation for making a high-flying bird. The climate is not too cold, and it is perfectly suited for peregrines.
Do whatever you need to do. I'm gonna make a picture. The name of the bullfighter because he's
Every time I see him fly, he kills something.
yeah, that's the problem.
The chute has a hunting club for members. Jose Manuel took us for lunch.
What's gonna be your main dish?
Just so you know, there's coming French fries and egg and
The following day, Juan Carlos Velasco organized a group of falconers for hunting and demonstration flights. Flush. They arranged a special lunch for me, and all the falconers attended. On the dinner plate, suckling pig. Falconers of Spain were incredible. Although our trip was short, I felt that I made many lasting friendships.
We will be in contact. Yeah. I will write that by Facebook so we can be in contact.
After lunch, we still had two birds to fly, Melina's and Bjorn's tiercel peregrines.
to teach you, but you have to charge.
After a great day of hockey, we followed Juan Carlos to his tavern in the town of Iscar. His tavern was incredible, and afterwards he invited us to his home for a bite to eat. In his home, Juan Carlos had one of the most incredible falconry man caves I've ever seen. It was simply beautiful.
Llega este y conduce a la mujer. Iba como una le paran y según abre la ventanilla la mujer se pone el desvelo.
The evening was great, and Juan Carlos was a fantastic host. I can only hope that he will come to the USA and go grouse hawking with me, and I can return the hospitality. Next day was January 6th, which is the Day of the Three Kings, a holiday in Spain. All hunting is forbidden. To the delight of my wife Julie, we actually got to go sightseeing and took a tour of the town of Segovia. Segovia is a historic city northwest of Madrid in central Spain's Castile and Leon regions. Its centuries of settlement have resulted in rich architectural legacy, including medieval walls, Romanesque churches, a former royal palace, and a Gothic cathedral. Its iconic ancient Roman aqueduct has more than 160 arches, most in the original mortarless granite, and stands above Plaza Azogojo in the heart of the city.
So in this place, it was most likely that Christopher Columbus proposed to Fernando of Aragon and Isabel of Castilla to discover a new route to the Indies. And what many people do not know is that Fernando was an avid falconer, and one of the promises that Columbus gave to Fernando was to bring in falcons from the Indies. And they actually did already on the first voyage. And for the next couple hundred years, Aplomado falcons, back then known as aletos, were brought back and weighed up in gold in Europe. So maybe one of the main reasons for the discovery of America was that Fernando was an avid falconer.
To finish off a perfect day, we decided to treat ourselves to one of the best restaurants in Segovia.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how.